Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera. My name is Fatin Aliah Phang, a fellow of the Academy of Sciences Malaysia, ASM. I'm trained as a physics teacher. I've been teaching physics and mathematics at school before I joined UTM at the Faculty of Education to train physics teachers. Today, I'm glad to be talking about a topic that I'm deeply passionate about, which is the declining trend of school students in the science stream enrolment or STEM A package. This issue was brought to my attention in 2009 when I returned to UTM from my PhD study leave in Cambridge. Back then, my dean invited me to join a research project funded by the Majlis Profesor Negara to identify the factors that caused the declining trend. That's when I realized that we as a nation have never achieved the targeted percentage of students in science stream, which is supposed to be 60% targeted since 1967. Now, the highest percentage of science enrollment among Form 4 students in Malaysia was 50.68% that we achieved in 2005. This is according to the annual published Perangkaan Pendidikan Malaysia by the Ministry of Education Malaysia. Based on the latest report published by KPM for year 2024, only 38.8% Form 4 students enroll in science. This trend is worrying. Now, why is this happening? A lot of people tend to say that it is due to the lack of interest towards science. Therefore, a lot of money and time were invested in holding carnivals and contests in science or STEM nowadays, just to attract young people to like science. We have invested millions into this kind of programs since a decade ago, but we have never reached the peak of the enrollment in science like in the years around 2005. Worse, we are declining, as more and more science or STEM carnivals and contests were held by various agencies, NGOs and companies. Our students not interested in science. Now let me show you some data from an international assessment that Malaysia participated since 2003. It is the Trends in Mathematics and Science Survey, or TIMSS teams, that involve Form 2 or Grad Ed students from around 60 countries. The students are required to answer tests and surveys. There is a declining trend in the average score as well as the percentage of students at the advanced benchmark. Now, advanced benchmark is scoring 625 and above in the test. There was 5% in 1994 for Malaysia, but kept declining until only 1% Malaysian students achieved the highest benchmark in TIMSS science. One could argue that maybe the tests have become tougher. Well, if we look at the performance of our neighbor country like Singapore, it has topped the ranking since 2003. The average score and the percentage of students at the advanced benchmark have increased by years. Now, let's look at the interest of our students towards science as measured by TIMSS. Over the year, our students have strong interest towards science, well above the international average. But why does the high percentage of interest that do not translate into the enrollment in science? Again, look at the data from TIMSS. There is a sharp decline in students' confidence in science since 2007. We are way lower than the international average. The surveyed items for confidence are: I usually do well in science, I am just not good in science, I learn things quickly in science, I'm good at working out difficult science problems, my teacher tells me I am good at science is harder for me than any other subject, and also items like science makes me confused. From this international survey over the course of 20 years, we could deduce that confidence towards science could be the mediating factor that discourages students to enroll in science, not really the interest. They are not confident that they can understand and score well in science, that learning science is difficult. Parents and teachers are also not confident in the ability of their children to score well in science. Therefore, they also discourage their children to enroll in science. Now, what can we do to boost their confidence in science? According to many experts in science education, such as John Dewey, learning science is doing science, not reading science. To be confident in what we read in the science textbooks, we need to see it happens in front of our eyes. Science is to be explored and observed, to be learned by doing and reasoning, and to be used to solve problems in our daily lives. Science is not supposed to be taught by explanations. This is making learning science boring, wasting their learning time in the classrooms, and further lowering their confidence in science. Instead of teaching science, teachers must help students in learning science. Wait, what is the difference? Isn't teaching science equate to learning science? Not exactly. Teaching can happen from one side, yet it doesn't guarantee learning happens. We could teach talk, explain about science, but are the students learning or are they thinking something different from what we talk about? If we are still thinking about teaching but not learning, we are sitting in the traditional paradigm of learning theories, that learning happens externally, that knowledge can be given from teachers to students. That is the old paradigm. According to the updated learning theories such as constructivism and connectivism, learning happens internally. This means that learning happens when the students are actively engaging in learning or when they want to learn. What makes them want to learn? Usually, they really want to learn when they believe that there is a need to learn. For example, there is a problem to be solved, a project to be completed, a tournament to be won, a question to be answered, a mission to be pursued. Teachers' role in this new paradigm is to act as a facilitator who help them go through the learning when they are engaging in the problem, project, tournament, question, or mission. Teachers must create the needs for them to want to learn. This is where teaching and learning strategies such as problem-based learning, project-based learning, inquiry-based learning come from. It is to provide the learning environment for students to learn while facilitated by the teachers. But we have a problem here. While many teachers may have heard of these strategies in teaching and learning science, they may not understand the theories behind the strategies. Therefore, they only mechanically and religiously follow the step to implement the strategies while teaching science. For example, from our study, we found that some science teachers who claim that they are doing inquiry-based learning in teaching science using 5E method do not understand how learning happens in each step of the E. Now, in the 5E method, the first E is engagement. This is to create the needs for students to want to learn by engaging them into a problem, question, project, or mission. The second E is explore. So when they wanted to engage in the question, they will explore the learning materials provided by the teacher or found themselves or elsewhere to try to find the answers. The third E is explain. Usually science teachers think that this is where the teachers will make the explanation or teaching. Now actually this is when the students should do the explanation. They will explain what they have learned through the exploration in the second step. In the fourth step, which is elaboration, the students are given questions or situations for them to elaborate further what they have learned and to conceptualize the new knowledge that they have learned. Finally, the last E is evaluation. Here is when the students evaluate their understanding and make reflections to further strengthen their learning. If done correctly, 5E can boost students' confidence in science as they explore and explain about the science concept themselves. They do the science and observe how science happens in front of their eyes. So why are this not happening in science classroom? There are various reasons, but one that we can focus on is the in-service teacher training. To shift teachers' paradigm towards a more constructivist approach, a serious training and coaching is needed. In-service science teachers need to undergo proper training, not the kind of in-house training that lasted only for 2 hours on a Saturday morning at the school by another teacher who has just learned a new pedagogy but yet to implement it. Now, the existing professional teacher development or LADAP is done with very little or no budget, little time allocation and focusing on what to be done rather than why. For example, the teacher training to improve the high-order thinking skills or HOTS back then in 2013 and 2015, a few selected teachers went to a 3-week national training in Wrexham to learn the philosophies, the theories, the method behind HOTS and how to improve HOTS. When it trickled down to the state level, it has to be reduced to less than a week of training with in-service teachers. And then a few days at the district level, and then finally a few hours in the in-house training at the schools. So at the end, the training syllabus is reduced only to the use of I think maps to improve HOTS. Therefore, it is not surprised that even though it is claimed that the in-service science teachers are trained to use inquiry-based learning or inquiry-based science education, IBSE, especially 5E, they got it wrong while implementing the methods. To ensure that the teachers implement the method correctly, ongoing coaching and mentoring must be conducted after the training until they have mastered the new strategies and get used to applying them in science classrooms. So in conclusion, to solve the declining trend of science enrollment, we must shift the focus from combating the interest to boosting the confidence of the students. To do so, teachers must be well trained, especially the in-service teachers. Therefore, rather than investing money into STEM carnivals and contests, funding should be allocated to in-service science teacher training and coaching so that the student-centered learning in science can be implemented effectively. There's actually a good example from the Duta Guru program funded by the Yayasan Petronas. The 2-year program for each cohort of STEM teachers include physical and online training, coaching and mentoring, and a community of practice among the Duta Guru to support each other to change from teacher-centered approach to student-centered approach. It is not a small investment, but it is a right investment for the future of science education in Malaysia. It is very sad to see our children avoid taking science because they believe that they cannot learn science, not that they are not interested in science. With that, I thank you for your attention.